Yo, 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 we are going to cover the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. In order to understand the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, we need to know the terms population and gene pool. So genetic variation is required for a population in order to evolve, but does not guarantee that it will. So one or more factors that cause evolution must be at work for a population to evolve. So what is a population? It is a localized group of individuals capable of interbreeding and producing fertile offspring. So the key there is the word fertile. And then the offspring, again, if it's sterile, doesn't necessarily contribute to that population. Okay, so um, gene pool refers to all the possible alleles, every gene that's present in individuals of a population. So gene pool represents all the possible alleles that could be inherited by the next generation. So now let's talk about allele frequencies. So the frequency of an allele in a population can be calculated. For diploid organisms, the total number of alleles at a locus, meaning the gene location, is the total number of individuals times 2. The total number of dominant alleles at a locus is 2 alleles for each homozygous dominant individual, plus 1 allele for each heterozygous individual. The same logic can be applied for the recessive alleles. By convention, if there are 2 alleles at a locus, P and Q are used to represent their frequencies. P usually represents the frequency of the dominant alleles, and this is very crucial. You can't mix it up. P dominant, and then Q is recessive. So the frequency of all alleles in a population will add up to 1. And so the statement is true. P plus Q equals 1. If P and Q represent the frequencies of the only 2 possible alleles, again, the genes, right, in a population at a particular locus, then P squared plus 2PQ plus Q squared equals 1. And let's break that down. So we know that P is the frequency of dominant allele, Q is the recessive allele. P squared, however, is the frequency of the homozygous dominant genotype. Okay, then Q squared is the frequency of the homozygous recessive genotype. And finally, the 2PQ, the frequency of the heterozygous genotype. So when added all together, this is considered to be the Hardy-Weinberg equation. It describes the genetic makeup expected for a population that is not evolving. That's the key there. Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium means not evolving. So if the population is not evolving, we are saying the population is indeed in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. The Hardy-Weinberg equation describes a hypothetical population that is considered not evolving. This simply means that the allele and genotype frequencies remain constant from one generation to the next for a population to be considered to be Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Now, if the data observed for the population differ from the expected values, sounds familiar, right? Chi-squared, the population may be evolving. In real populations, the allele and genotype frequencies usually change over time. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There are 5 conditions you guys need to know for a population to be in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. And again, usually this is a hypothetical situation because they are rarely met in nature. Number 1, no mutations occurring. Number 2, truly random mating, meaning no sexual selection. Number 3, no natural selection. Number 4, extremely large population size. And finally, number 5, no gene flow, meaning there's no emigration out of the population or immigration into the population. These 5 conditions must be met for this to be considered, for a population to be considered to be in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So let's take an example, okay? The occurrence of PKU, a recessive genetic disorder, is said to be in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium for the following reasons. The PKU gene mutation rate is very low. The mate selection is random with respect to whether or not an individual is a carrier of the PKU allele, because usually maybe one wouldn't know. The natural selection can only act on rare homozygous individuals who do not follow dietary restrictions. And then the population is large, right? Then finally, the migration has no effect as many other populations have similar allele frequencies for the PKU recessive genetic disorder. Okay, y'all, we're gonna look into the next video and we're gonna see how to solve some of these Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium problems. Have a good one.